and welcome to Inside Jacksonville, a production of the UNF Department of Communication and CW17. I'm Kelsey Oates.
And I'm Taylor Johnson. We're here each month with stories about life on the First Coast.
One of the most exciting things about the fall season is Halloween.
This month we take a look at different ways to enjoy Halloween for the whole family in and around the First Coast.
Today, the holiday probably best known for trick-or-treating and candy, but that wasn't always the case. Inside Jacksonville's Adam Thompson takes us on a trip back in time to explore the origins of the holiday and how it evolved into what we know as Halloween.
The roots of Halloween run deep. The holiday's origins go back centuries. Celtic farmers believed there was one day a year when the barrier between the living and the dead was the thinnest. They called it Samhain, the Celtic word for summer's end. On that day, the souls of the dead would rise and wreak havoc on the living. The Celts disguised themselves and lit huge bonfires to confuse and repel the spirits.
And there's an Irish tradition, Samhain, that's associated with the Harvest Festival that may be one of the origins of Halloween. In fact, a lot of the connections with things like spiritualism and concerns about the dead are often associated with Samhain as a celebration.
As Christianity spread throughout Europe, church-sanctioned holidays like All Souls' Day were created to blend with ancient traditions and try to replace them. Europeans accepted the new holidays, but still wanted to keep their long-standing traditions alive too. The day before All Saints' Day on November 1st eventually became All Hallows' Eve and was later shortened to Halloween.
So I would probably make the argument that in many ways Halloween, certainly what Halloween is to us today, is directly the result of its interaction with Christianity.
The first jack-o'-lanterns would have been made from potatoes or gourds, but in the United States, the Irish found the pumpkin to be a much better substitute.
The Great Potato Famine of the 1840s drove millions of Irish to the cultural melting pot that is the United States in search of new opportunities. The Irish brought their ancient customs with them, and before we knew it, Halloween became an American tradition for adults and children alike.
That Spooktacular is an excellent family event. We're very family friendly. We do have 4 scare zones this year. We added another scare zone for those that would like to delight in fright, as we say, for those that are not so scared. But it is very family friendly. You can bypass the scare zones for the little ones, and it's great to see the kids dancing in our Monster Mash area to all the songs that they recognize. It's fun seeing little Elsas and Annas and Spider-Men and Hulks dancing around. It's a lot of fun to see the joy on the kids' faces.
Today, Halloween is one of the most profitable holidays on the calendar. Halloween is second only to Christmas in terms of consumer spending in the United States. Between candy, costumes, and decorations, retailers can expect to earn over $7 billion in the United States alone.
We get our information just by paying attention throughout the year on and kind of looking at other organizations. We'll visit other zoos, other facilities that have spooktacular type events, and we'll maybe steal some of their ideas. But we are inspired. We do have a lot of parents that are on staff, so they kind of bring to the table what kind of excites their children, what movies are out, that sort of thing, and that's kind of where we get our inspiration on our different themed areas and our characters.
From the modest celebrator to the Halloween fanatic, the traditions of Halloween are deeply rooted in our culture and heritage. After thousands of years, Halloween has become the one day a year when we can indulge on candy and be whoever or whatever we want to be. Adam Thompson, Inside Jacksonville.
Halloween is one holiday with a very interesting history.
What's your favorite part about Halloween, Kelsey?
Well, when I was little, I used to love the candy, and now that I'm older, I'm still in love with the candy.
Do you look forward to trick-or-treating and stuff?
I do,
Yeah.
But they're lucky if there's candy left because I eat it all. So.
Oh gosh. When you think of Halloween, usually the first thing that comes to mind is candy and costumes. Sure, they're a big part of the holiday, but when it comes to Fright Night, let's not forget the big screen. Inside Jacksonville's Erica Santillo shows us why horror movies are so popular.
Freddy Krueger, the slasher who turns your dreams into nightmares. Jason Voorhees, the demented killer from Camp Crystal Lake. Michael Myers, the knife-wielding mass murderer. They have become household names in the film industry. Horror movies have been terrorizing its viewers for decades, and they love it. In fact, horror has become one of the most profitable genres in Hollywood, making over $250 million last year alone. But why do we enjoy being scared so much? Professor Stephen Boca explains the psychology behind horror films.
Generally speaking, horror just works because it's something we all understand without having to have a whole lot of setup or exposition or backstory. It's don't get eaten alive. It doesn't. We don't have to say anything. If something's coming after you, you run. You try to survive instinctively.
Ben Howard is one who lives and breathes horror. Inspired by writers like Stephen King, Ben hopes to one day create his own horror movie. The budding writer takes what he knows about fear and creates his own iconic monsters.
That's the great thing about a horror film is that they're actually pretty complex, three-dimensional characters, often even more interesting than the heroes, because can you even remember any of the names of Michael Myers' victims? No, you don't, because they're just there to be butchered.
Monsters like Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees have been scaring us in theaters for years. They're more than just movie characters to us, they're part of our culture. But what is it about these characters that makes them so timeless? Jay Woodley may have the answer. Jay is the only licensed special effects artist in Jacksonville. His job is to make monsters come alive on and off the big screen. For him, it's Halloween all the time.
You have guys like me that live it, breathe it, scream it. We have to be around it. The best way I can say it is it's kind of like being addicted to drugs. If I'm not making monsters, if I'm not making something scary, I fiend for it. I have to have it. I have withdrawals. I go crazy. Then you have other people like everyone in the store right now that it's that time of year and everything comes out. So horror culture, I think, it's really black and white. It's not so much of a culture as it really is a way of life.
Jay says he'd rather make monsters here in Jacksonville because of its rich film history. The Creature of the Black Lagoon was actually shot here in 1954. To Jay, this city holds many opportunities for horror film fans, and he's hoping the next Freddy and Jason just might be created here in Jacksonville. Erica Santillo, Inside Jacksonville.
Jay Woodley is one of just 5 special effects consultants for the United States military. How cool is that?
I did not know that.
Yep.
When we come back, you'll hear some alternate options for kids that are safer than trick-or-treating.
And later on, we'll take a look at how pumpkins aren't just great for carving.
Welcome back to Inside Jacksonville.
This month our topic is Halloween and the many different ways to enjoy the holiday.
During this festive fall season, you don't have to look very far to see the color orange in general and pumpkins in particular. Inside Jacksonville's Melanie Thomas shows us a few ways you can enjoy pumpkins this Halloween.
It's that time of year again. The swelter of summer is giving way to the chill of fall. In celebration of the season, our round orange friends are back decorating our doorsteps. But first you have to find one. This pumpkin patch at Isle of Faith Church is one of many that families are flocking to find their great pumpkin.
Right now it's early in the season. Come probably after the 20th, they'll go out of here in droves. We don't really count them. We'll get 4 complete truckloads of pumpkins in here. There's 22 to 2,500 pumpkins on each load. We'll have some left, but not a lot. And the camaraderie and just seeing all the kids come in and the smiles on their faces and having fun is the best part of it. And of course, we don't charge for pumpkins. We don't put a price on pumpkins. We have some estimated, some recommended pricing, but we let people pay. Some people may pay nothing. Others probably pay more than what they're worth.
As you can see, this is not your ordinary pumpkin patch. Here, it's all about giving back. Once you find your perfect pumpkin, the usual plan is crafting and carving, but right down the road at a local bakery, they had something different in mind. Sonati's is creating its own fall favorites. Their pumpkin foods are becoming a much anticipated yearly event, much like peppermint in December. October is taking over at Sonati's.
Started at 5 p.m. and we fried until 2:30 the next day, so about 21 hours of frying. This is my second home. At this time of the year, it's actually my first home, so my kids don't know which way to go. This is what we live for. This is, it's like crunch time, so it's definitely a more fun season because it is busier. It's also a little more stressful because it is busier, but it's definitely what we live for. Well, of course, the pumpkin donuts. And then we have a harvest ring, which is basically like a large pumpkin donut. And then we have pumpkin muffins, pumpkin nut bread, we have pumpkin cheesecake. So we do a little bit of everything. Our pumpkin products, any of those, they all have pumpkin in them. And then they have our secret family spice mix that only a Sonati can mix.
Whether you're carving a pumpkin or turning one into a delicious treat, it's obvious that autumn is in the air. Melanie Thomas, Inside Jacksonville.
When it comes to pumpkin, the pie now has plenty of company. Pumpkin-flavored foods are everywhere, assorted beverages to baked goods and beyond.
It may seem like adults are hijacking Halloween, but we can't forget childhood is where the fun begins. Inside Jacksonville's Erica Protzman takes us to a few local businesses to show the different activities for the kids to enjoy this Halloween season.
Trick-or-treating on Halloween night. It's a tradition most of us remember and remember fondly. Children will soon be dressing up and taking to the streets in search of sweet treats. But before letting your little ones head out, it's important to remember safety first.
What we really want to do is a lot of these things are your normal pedestrian safe walking rules, like children should walk on the sidewalk whenever there's a sidewalk available. If there's not a sidewalk, they need to walk on the left side of the road facing the traffic so they can be seen. Make sure their costumes fit them well, that they're not a trip hazard. Just paint their face and wear hats and things rather than a mask, which can obstruct their vision.
It's important to be safe, but most of all, it's important to have fun. Halloween isn't just one night here in Jacksonville. Local businesses put on fun festivities for kids so they can indulge in candy and costumes all month long.
The Fall Festival at Chick-fil-A is an annual event and the perfect place for kids. It gives them a chance to show off their wacky dance moves, get their face painted, and other favorites.
Getting to dress up and eating.
The activities here are so fun that it brings kids like Jade back year after year.
I've been here since I was about 5, and sometimes I see all my friends here from school because I usually go here. Like I usually go against them in something or like do that.
Chick-fil-A's Fall Festival isn't the only fun place for kids leading up to Halloween. Tommy Outley also has an event just for kids.
Well, I see there's a market for small children. There's not a lot of events going after the preschool and elementary school kids. So my thought was, what can I do to help the community, and also what can we do for the families that really have nothing to do in the fall season?
About this time each year, Tommy's Pumpkin Patch in St. Johns County opens its doors for kids of all ages to come and have what he says is the best time of their life. No day at Tommy's would be complete without gathering the whole family together for hay rides, duck races with old-fashioned well pumps, and even a leaf room. It also has a petting zoo with almost every farm animal imaginable.
So when I first came up with the idea, I wanted some old-fashioned fun. So my thought was there's no electric, no video games, nothing to do but old-fashioned fun. Every kid comes in awe, and every kid leaves screaming, crying because they don't want to leave.
Remember, trick-or-treating isn't the only fun thing for kids to do this fall. There are lots of events right here in Jacksonville all month long. Erica Protzman, Inside Jacksonville.
Safety is certainly one of the most important things to consider as we all navigate our way through the Halloween season.
When we return, we'll take a look at different places around town you can get a good scare.
Also, the Halloween festivities aren't just for kids. Adults have plenty of fun for the choosing too. This is one you won't want to miss.
Full of Spanish treasure, half of
Welcome back to Inside Jacksonville.
Our topic this month is Halloween and the many different ways to enjoy the holiday around the First Coast.
For many, getting scared is half the enjoyment of Halloween. Most people think you have to drive to a mega theme park in Orlando to get a thrill, but Inside Jacksonville's Keontae Brooks shows us you don't have to leave the area to get frightened.
Enter Warehouse 31 Unleashed, a local attraction for thrill seekers to come face to face with their deepest fears. For Ann Lynch and her boyfriend, it was just the creepy experience they were seeking.
You don't have to pay $100 to just enjoy a fun scream. You don't have to go very far from Jacksonville, and we need more stuff like this here anyways.
Warehouse 31 succeeds because it gives such an up-close and personal experience, thanks to the creative director, Brandon Morawski.
I would tell people to come to Warehouse 31 because it's a very personalized experience. It's terrifying. I mean, I watch it. I roam through the haunt. I'm the director, so I'm constantly watching my actors and watching what they're doing with groups, and I see the terror that comes out of patrons when they're walking through these rooms. You need to walk through that door because it is going to be the scariest, largest, most intense haunted house that you'll probably ever experience.
For Brandon and director Colleen Lawlin, scaring people is all in a night's work. Warehouse 31 is definitely not for the faint of heart, but for those seeking a historical and spooky experience, a short drive to downtown St. Augustine may be just the thrill they need. St. Augustine Ghost Tours offers groups of people a lighthearted and educational tour through the nation's oldest city. Eric Sponberg is one of the guides for St. Augustine Ghost Tours.
At the back of the cemetery, there is a chapel. In the chapel, there is a grave. First person in the grave was Father Varela. And if you yourselves are at all sensitive to ghosts, if you've ever had a ghostly experience, this is probably where you're going to feel it. One of the things that we do on our tour is incorporate a lot of history into the tour. So you get stories about the buildings and the people here that you may not normally get on another tour, and we take a lot of pride in doing that. Queen Elizabeth had ordered him to sail around the world and attack anything Spanish that he could find. He did so, voyaging for 3 years, returning to England in 1580 with a whole fleet full of Spanish treasure, half of which he gave to Queen Elizabeth herself, and she was so happy at her newfound wealth that she made him a knight of the realm. Interacting with the guests is one of the real pleasures. When you get a good audience and you can play to the audience, play off the audience, that's a real treasure. You get to meet people from all over the world. Gold! They reached in and they grabbed those teeth right out of the skull, stuffed them in the pockets and ran away. And old George saw what was going on. He started running after them as fast as he could go, but oh, they got away!
Eric is very passionate about revealing historic ghostly tales as he takes patrons on a journey through old St. Augustine. The ghost tours are family-friendly and attracts tourists from all over the world that travel together on this educational, creepy experience. Keontae Brooks from Inside Jacksonville.
Warehouse 31 and the St. Augustine Ghost Tours have become the top attractions in Northeast Florida and are both just a short drive away.
When you think of Halloween, you normally picture kids dressed up going trick-or-treating. Not as it seems, adults join in on the fun just as much. Inside Jacksonville's Jimena Gonzalez shows us some of the hot spots adults are celebrating this season.
Halloween has become a massive celebration, and not just for the little ones. Adults are finding different ways to celebrate Halloween this year. Some are going for a cocktail, while some are looking to get scared. Adults still trick-or-treat, but with a twist. Blackfin, like other bars and restaurants, has multiple events in October tailored to adults. At Blackfin Ameripub in Jacksonville, adults lined up to take part in this year's Candy Fest. Candy Fest is trick-or-treating for the 21 and over crowd. Customers lined up to sample 8 candy-inspired cocktails and a huge candy buffet. Blackfin offers adults a fun and delicious alternative to passing out candy this Halloween. A short drive out to St. Augustine offers adults another Halloween experience. This one is not exactly for the faint of heart. Wolf's is creating a more adult atmosphere for Halloween.
We're going to see a huge crowd. This year it falls on a Saturday. We're going to do live actors. All the mannequins that you've seen are going to be live actors. So it's going to change the dynamics. We're going to do alcohol, which always helps, in the courtyard, free. And then we're going to do kind of a catered affair. So the people that come in, we get a lot of people that are into entertainment, but basically it's our loyal fans. Over the past 3 years, that foundation has built, and they come to our events. If we push it, promote it, they're aware of it. Some people travel 500 miles, to come to some of these things.
Allie and Wolf Mertz, who have been together since high school, don't find anything unusual about their living arrangement.
People are surprised that we're so normal, I guess. You know, they think that it's like super creepy, weird people that would run a place like this.
Wolf's has over 500 rare oddities and antiques from around the world. Some of the creepy things housed at Wolf's are an exorcist bathroom, a cannibal kitchen, and a UFO mortuary. Wolf's even has a live-in mermaid who performs shows for visitors.
Trina the mermaid, she is, like we call her, our real live-in oddity. She gets, booked out for shows, but she's really talented. She can do underwater photography, hold her breath for like 3 minutes.
Wolf's Museum appeals to crowds of all ages and backgrounds. These parties and attractions show that you're never too old to have fun on Halloween. Jimena Gonzalez, Inside Jacksonville.
Taylor, did you know there are that many options for adults this Halloween season?
No, I had no idea that there were so many things to do right here in town. And can you believe that mermaid?
I know. Growing up, always wanted to be a mermaid, and look at her resume.
Now you can do it.
That's a wrap for this Inside Jacksonville.
If you missed anything from our program, just click through to our website, go to unftv.com and click on Inside Jacksonville. You'll find expanded versions of our stories, photos, interviews, and other extras. That's unftv.com Inside Jacksonville.
Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you next time, Inside Jacksonville.
That was really good.
Yeah. Okay, that's it. I went fast on